Okay, now we've gone over held bids, we're going to go about explaining held offers. It's the same thing as a held bid, except on the offer side. So let's get started. What are held offers and why are they important? Like I said before, it's the same thing as held bid, except with the offer. It's another most used indicator in tape reading, except on the sell side. And spotting them will provide great opportunities where you can literally risk a penny per trade. And it's very important because they'll provide opportunities that are not in chart, specifically on the open, and give you great entries with low risk. During the open, like I said about held bids, there's not much of a chart, but you use held offers to find great opportunities because the chart hasn't developed yet on the open. When a stock does a lot of volume at a price, you want to keep track and trade around that price because it is a level. Very important information should be kept track intraday. Remember how much volume is done at a price. If it holds, it does not. And all volume is relative and has to be a lot of volume compared to what has been traded every price for it to be important. Remember, the more volume, the more important it is. So what is a held offer? Held offer is when there's at least 2 to 3 times more volume traded on the offer than it shows on level 2, or more than you expected or average, and the offer holds. Remember, all volume is relative, and the more volume that's done at a level, the more important it is. It's a great use on the open when a stock is downtrending, high probability trade. Remember, the trend is your friend. And with the held offer, if a stock is downtrending, it will give you an opportunity to enter the stock, a proper entry price, and not just a random price, but where there's an actual seller there. And it should always be considered when spotted, whether long or short. If you're short, you can add with an exit if that lives, or to cover some or sell some, if you spot a held offer, or an add if a held offer lives. If you're long already, it might be a reason to sell some or even add if the offer lifts. Remember, you just need more than that. Need more indicators in your favor for high probability trades. And quick recap, when there's at least 2 to 3 times more volume traded on the offer than it shows on level 2, more than you expected or average, and the offer holds. Remember, volume's all relative. And remember, the more volume traded at that level and holding, then the more important it is. Supply and demand dynamics of a held offer. You should always keep in mind the supply and demand dynamics of a held offer. When the held offer lifts, it means there's buyers in control. It means there's more demand than supply at that price, and the stock should see higher prices. If the offer holds, that means there's sellers and they're getting more aggressive. It means there's more supply for their stock at that price and should see lower prices. What should you do when an offer holds, when an offer lifts? Just the same thing as held bids. It's very simple. When an offer is holding, you should get short. Again, if all the other indicators are in your favor for a high probability trade. When the offer lifts, you should not be short and possibly be long if the other indicators are in your favor. Repeat that over and over again and make that an instinct. If there's a held offer, bearish. Held offer lifts, bullish for that price. Reason behind getting short a held offer: someone is selling at that level. Very simple. If the offer lifts, then you have no more of a reason to be in that stock, and you should get out if you got short in front of the held offer. Remember, follow your trading plan, and if your plan was to short the stock and get out above the held offer, then you should get out. If the offer lifts, and say it does lift, gather information. Always gather information when you're trading. Every trade you make is your information. Remember, you should always use it to your advantage. How your order is taken, were they quickly, slow, what price did you get? So, doesn't mean you should be long right when a held offer lifts. Remember about the other indicators. If it's downtrending and held offer lifts, but there's a huge offer above it, you got to add all these indicators to build up the probability of the trade. If stock looks like it's going to go higher, then a good position would be add long when the held offer lifts, or you could start a position there. Again, with the other indicators. Shorting on an offer being held is a good risk reward trade if the stock is downtrending. Same thing goes adding or entering long when the held offer lifts in an uptrending stock. Remember, we're traders, so we want to make the best risk-reward trades. Supply dynamics. If the offer lifts, there's more demand, bullish. If the offer holds, there's more supply for stock at that level, and that is bearish. So, what does it look like on the Prince level 2? It's easy to spot when you're focused. Remember, held offer was there at least 2 to 3 times more volume traded on the offer than it shows on level 2, more than you expected at that level. Remember, all volume is relative, and the more volume traded at that level, the more important it is. So, held offer is when there's 2 to 3 more times volume traded on the offer, and it holds in more volume than you expected. Okay? I like to do 5 to 6, but the least for a held offer, same thing goes with bid, is 2 to 3 times volume. I genuinely like to see, 5 to 6 times that volume. Example. Okay, let's see Netflix went down from 68 to 67 to 75, and it's in a downtrend. The offer lifts to 67.89, and at that price, there's an NYSE offer for 100 shares on the level 2. Netflix has been trading about 800 shares per price level, and then you see a bunch of prints for about 2,600 shares at that 89-cent level on the offer, and just doesn't trade above it. The offer never lifts, and then you see it trading down. That's a held offer, and that's a good short trade. Get short in front of the held offer and out above it because the offer held. It means that there's a seller and they're selling a lot of stock, and they're not showing. You notice that there's an overlying offer at 90 cents. So the play would be get short at 89 on a different ECN, or a penny in front of it, and get out if that offer lifts. Your risk is very minimal on that trade, and it shows that there's sellers there, and you have a clearly defined entry, clearly defined exit, and you know that they're selling. Okay? And finally, remember, held offer is when a stock prints 2 to 3 times the amount of volume, same price, or 2 to 3 times more volume than expected, and holds the offer there. Okay? So, what does it look like on a chart? Let's use this FMCN for example. Again, we're going to use the tick chart, and a held offer here at this 18 level. See the green prints, the offer held there at 19, right? And it's never lifted. This right here are through prints. But right here you see the offer never went above 18, the green prints, the green little dots. So, a short opportunity to get short there, out if the offer lifts, and you could have made at least 3 points on pennies worth of risk. It's a great opportunity to get short. Same thing here. This FSLR, right? It was uptrending from the open, and we see, it slowed here, and held offer started showing. Okay? And we keep track of that. We also saw a held offer here at this 50-60 level. Okay? So it lifted the stock, started consolidating above it. Remember, this price level was a held offer there. And finally, we saw here this 50-60 seller reappeared from previously. Right? And finally they lifted, traded higher, lifted these offers, lifted again. Then the sellers reappeared here on the held offer, lifted again, and continued to trade higher. Okay, so the stock was, strong, and it was a decent opportunity to get long or add to a position when these held offers lifted for at least a point for the trade. Again, with the 1 minute chart, you can't see it. It's not clear on the 1 minute chart. You just see it's uptrending. But with the tape and the tick chart, but primarily tape, you're able to see everything. You get so much more information from that than just a 1 minute chart. Halliburton, right? So we see trade up here, held offer, didn't lift. Say you got short there, saw held offer hold lower at this 20-cent mark, and then it continued to trade lower, about 20 cents, until it reversed, and the offers lifted and traded higher. Again, on this 1 minute chart, you're not able to see it clearly defined. Again, here, A little bit better, but not as clear. You see the held offers here. And once they lifted, got above this little resistance area on the offer, traded higher. MGN. Again, this is what it looks like on the chart, right? So you saw held bids here, not as clear on the 1 minute chart. It was a lot clearer on the tape. It dropped, it retested the level, sellers appeared here at the 73, right? So the bid dropped. Remember, held bid drops, bearish. Went back, tested the offer, held the offer with the held offer, and then from that 73 traded down more than a point. Again, it provides great risk reward opportunities where your risk is very, very minimal. Prime example again, same example. 73 held the offer here very, very cleanly, as you can see from the chart, and traded lower for about a point. Okay, in this video we're going to be going over held offers. So we're going to keep an eye on the offer side here. Remember, it's on the right side. We're going to keep an eye on the green prints where the time and sales are. So we're watching Best Buy right now and we're looking for a held offer. It is the same thing as a held bid, except on the opposite side. Okay, let's pause. We saw so far they trade up to 60 cents and now back at 59. So let's keep an eye on this 60 cents. 61 big offer. Okay, now you see that 60 cents right there did not lift, did not trade above 60 cents. It actually held there, did some volume, more than I expected it to do, and traded lower. So let's see if it continues to hold. We trade lower. Now the offer's kind of holding lower at 51. See how it's only showing 100 shares, yet we're seeing a bunch of size go through here at 50 and 51, especially the white prints. And now the offer stepped down. So right there what we saw was the seller stopped at 60, dropped down to 51, where it's showing just 100 shares, but it's printing way more than that. 100 shares, 600 shares, 1,500 shares, 2,000 shares. See a bunch of prints at 50, 51, and trades lower. And that right there is a held offer, and then a held offer lower. Okay, in this video, we're watching Express Inc., EXPR, and we're also looking for a held offer in this. So let's watch. This tape is a little bit slower than the other tapes we've been watching, so you clearly see a held offer. What you see on the offer side is that there's about 39 cents. So there's no overlying. So the next is 55 cents. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Alright, we have about 3,000 shares or so on the offer at 39. So let's see if that holds and continue to watch that. Now it's only showing about 2,000. Back to 3,039. So let's watch this. Let's count how many shares being printed at 39. So 32,000 shares at 39. So we're missing another 1,000. $40.42. So that offer lifted. Now let's keep an eye on this 40. And now we're back at that 39, and now there's about 2,300 shares at 39. Okay, so still nothing to really note there. Well, we're still paying attention that about 3,000 shares got eaten up and then lifted to the 40 and came back. So let's continue to watch, see what happens. $37, $36. and traded lower. 34, 35. Still watching. 35, 34. Now we see 35. It starts decrementing there. Does a bunch of volume. Held there. Lifted. Went back. Now it's at 37. Again, 35 on the offer. There's a little seller there. So what we saw there was 35 held the offer, did some volume. See, wind it. Some volume. Saw a bunch of prints at 35. Lifted. Went to the 38 that we saw previously, and then back at 35. 35, 35. See, I did a bunch of volume. Now 35 still showing there. See how the offer can't really get above that 35. 36 again, back to 35. That's about 2,000 shares. Up, a bunch more shares. Decrementing. And now we're seeing that 35 is actually holding the offer there. Lifts. And back to 35. You see that? You see how 35 went back to the offer even though it lifted? So it's a held offer, more of a hidden seller at that point because it wasn't as clean. But you know, we see that there's a little seller there. So in order for the seller to be gone, we need the 35 bid step above the bid step up 35, 36. Now we're above. Remember, 38 was a previous area with 39. And back 35 offer. Alright, so we saw 39 still a little bit, and then smacked the offer back down to 35. See, there's some size there, and see how it keeps holding there. Now the bid's back above. See if it goes back down. 39. Offer again. See how it hasn't gone and held above 40 yet. Once it does that, it's ready to go. See 40. Finally lifted. See if it holds above. Now the bid's holding there. 39 by 41, 40. Now we see the offer there, 40. See how the offer's kind of holding there. 40, 39. So right now it's holding the offer there at 40. In order for, you know, the seller to be gone, the bid's gonna actually have to step up to about 42 or so, 43. 42. 40 should do some volume on the bid. And there we go. Now 40 is doing a bunch of volume on the bid, more than before, and it should trade higher. Now the bid's starting to hold at 2040. The high is 44. So once it breaks high, okay, now it should trade higher. 44 holding the offer. Now 45 lifted. What we saw there was, you know, it was right off the open. So we saw right here, this 40-cent area, where there's a seller there, and then they tried stepping it down here, right? Eventually came back up, sold a little bit there, and eventually lifted, right? So your chart's telling you it's a bull flag right here, okay? But the tape was telling you there's some sellers. So what do you do in this situation? When there's a bull flag and sellers lift, that means long. There's two, you know, checks, I guess, in your favor. A bull flag, and then sellers lifting. Okay, in this video we're watching FSLR, You can see by the chart, it's in an uptrend, and we're going to keep an eye on this little level right here, 56. There was a seller there, and this presented an opportunity to get long once the seller lifted. So there was a held offer there, but it doesn't exactly mean that it's a short. The overall chart, is dictating there's a bullish flag, and that sellers have stepped down, and finally when the sellers lift here, they provide an opportunity to get long to stop if the offer gets back below the 60-cent area. And as you can see from the tape, FSLR was up about 9%, and usually you don't really want to short something that's up 9% unless you have a really good probability of it working out. So just watch the tape and keep an eye on around the 60 level. So we're seeing about an 8-penny spread. Now we see the offers below 60, back above 65, 66. $62 kind of holding there. Drops. 59.63, 55.62. Let's continue to watch. Alright, keep an eye on the offers and specifically the prints. Alright, so what we're seeing now is the offers at 61. The bid is at 58 now. And we're seeing 61 hold. See, it's only showing 100 shares, yet it printed way more than that. Safe to say, at least 3 to 4 times that. An offer step down to 60. Okay, now keep an eye on the 60 and 61. 61 is only showing 200 shares, yet just printed about 2,000 right there. It's continued to hold there, and finally it lifted. So keep an eye on that. So we see a 60 or 61 is the one that's sold a bunch. So right there, we only see 200 shares and 100, 200. And look how many shares being printed. And finally it does lift. And we can see from the rest of the video it trades higher. Also we see it from this chart. Right here, 61, 62. Held offer there, eventually lifted, and then traded about a point higher from there, at least. Okay, as we continue to watch our held offers, we're going to keep an eye on Halliburton. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on the offer side and the prints. Trading at 47 on the bid. Okay, so far we see that 48's on the offer, and it doesn't lift. Let's go back to that. 48, we see about 2,000 shares. 3,000 shares. Trades lower. See if it goes back to 48. 45's kind of a little held bid there. So there's a held bid right there at 45. See, it's only showing 100 shares yet, printing a bunch. Okay, the held bid drops. So what we saw was at 48. There were some sellers there. Not really a held offer, but there was some decent size there at that level. And then it traded to 45. At 45, there was a held bid and it later dropped, meaning more supply in the market, sharply trades lower. So let's fast forward to when it does go back to 48. See here, 44, 40, 41, 43, 44. Remember, 45 was the previous level where there was a held bid. So if it goes back to level, and there's a held offer now where the previous held bid was. It's pretty bearish. Lifts, trades above that level. 47. Okay, so we see it went up to 47, 46. Couldn't really get above that level. We saw it 47. Sold a bunch. Quickly rejected that level. And is below that 45 level. $48, $47. We see the offer get to 47, not really print there. So let's continue to keep an eye on that. In there, trades lower. Let's fast forward back to the 48 level. 44, 45, 47. And I'll keep an eye on how much size there is at 47 in the offers. Let me look at the prints. You see it keeps rejecting that 47, 48 area, okay? So it means there's sellers there, and just fast forward. So it's showing there's sellers at that level and I can't get above it. $42, $43, $45, $47. Again, back at that 47, and the offer does not lift. So we see how it goes to the 47 offer, but it's not lifting that level. Okay, it's not printing at 48. You're seeing 47, 47 offer, okay? So we see a bunch of prints go through 47. We have the previous held bid at 45, and it rejects that level. So let's go back. Let's fast forward. Again, 47, 48, and back to 47, 48, okay? So remember, we're keeping an eye on how much size there is, how much is showing, and how much it actually prints. 47, 48. Remember, 48 was the previous high of the move. Now let's keep an eye on this 48, and again, back down to 47. And you just can't get above that 48 level. Okay, now we see all this volume. 3,000 shares at 47. 47 again. 48. Now let's see if 48 holds. Show about 1,500 shares. It's holding. Again, 47 on the offer. 48. 48 offer is holding. So he does not get above that, hasn't traded above that since we started. About 3,000 shares at 48. And they're hitting the bids, and it rejects that 48 level again. Back at 48. And again, rejects that level. $45 where the previous held bid that dropped is. Again, 47 holding along with 48. See, they're doing so much size there on the offer. $47 offer still. And rejects it. 47 offer again. And now we're seeing all that size right there. At 47, rewind that. 47, showing about 700 shares, about 2,000, and again rejects the level. 47, 2,000 shares of 47, way more than 2,000 shares printed. It's about, I believe, 6,000 or so, and again rejects that level. And you also have to note 45, decent size print there. So you also have to note it's down about 4%. 45 now holding. So we saw that they went to 48, 47 to 45, and now we see that it trades lower. Okay, in this video we're going to look for a held offer. So let's watch. Now we see the offer is 20, and right there you see how the offer is at 20 cents. It's only showing about 500 shares. See how many prints it goes through on the offer. Green prints. $500 shares right there. See the 90 is not lifting that offer. Let's continue to hold. And now it trades lower. Show this one more time. $15, $16, $17. Okay, right there it had 20 offer, went to 19. Now its offers back at 20. See how many shares? A couple hundred shares. Again 20. Through print, stop. 600 shares. See all these green prints? He's on the offer. Yet the offer is still there at 20 and doesn't go above it. Continue doing the same thing. Again, 20-cent offer. Doesn't get above. 20 cents. Again, look at all the size at 20 cents. 20 is staying there. It's not going above 20. And then now it trades lower. Fast forward. And you see it trades lower from that point. Okay, in this video we're going to watch Netflix. We're going to look for a held offer. Let's watch. I'll keep an eye on the offers and the prints. Okay, we see how the offer so far stopped at 80. Let's continue to watch that. 69. Do a little bit of volume on the offer. See if it gets above it. Got above it. 80 again. Look at all these 80 prints. 80. There, all these green 80 prints. It doesn't get above. Okay, that was a held offer. Only showed a couple hundred shares at 80 cents, and it didn't lift, and it printed a bunch of shares on the offer. So you're gonna watch. And it trades lower. See if it gets back up to 80, 70, 71, 70, 75. Okay, now keep an eye on this, only showing 100 shares. See how many prints go through. 100, 200. Okay, see all these green prints, all these offers, only showing 100 shares, and continues to refresh, and it continues to hold there. And it trades lower, below 50 cents. And there you go.